Hey, all you cool cats. Ready for a little fun? That's what I thought. Pop Talk, Scooby-Doo-Wah-Doo-Wah, Pop Talk. The fun never stops, you know. Pop Talk. If you're a nerd or a jock, run, don't just walk. Get ready to rock, you got Pop Talk.
Now, from Funko Hollywood, it's time for Pop Talk.
Hey everybody, it's your pal, Funmaker Mike. Can you believe it? It's another episode of Pop Talk. Today, we're gonna film it here at our Hollywood store. Come on down and check it out. Hey, our guest, you're not gonna believe this one. From Pan's Labyrinth? From?
The Hellboy movies, Hocus Pocus, Star Trek Discovery.
Hold on, let's go through the whole list later. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Jones, can you believe it?
Hi.
How are we getting these A-listers now? This is great. Somebody back there is doing a good job. All right, so Doug, would you like to go ahead and...
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice
Yeah.
all these spare parts here. So am I making my own Funko Pop?
You can do whatever you want. So
Well-
it can be yourself, it can be a make-believe character.
Yeah, well, I think I'm gonna try. Let's try to do me. In fact, I think starting with a suit and tie is perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, and this guy right on top there. I don't know. What do you think?
Well,
Yeah.
take your time. We're going to try to, as we do the interview, just build whatever you'd
Okay,
like to build,
okay,
have
we'll-
fun with
we'll
it.
keep
There's all
talking.
sorts of accessories.
I
There's
noticed
dogs
that,
and
yeah.
there's cats, if you like that kind of thing.
I do.
Anyway, here we go. So, Doug, as you may or may not know, Funko is a collectibles company.
I did know that. Yes.
Do you, Doug Jones, collect anything?
Well, I collect myself. Basically, any action figures, toys, whatever that I am represented in is what I collect. And outside of that, I've never been like I'm going to gather up that line of thing.
Yeah, even when you were a kid?
Even when I was
Comic books, anything like that?
Archie comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, I did too. I
They
liked
did the
Archie,
Archies, yeah. I liked Superman, but I collected Archie. Yeah.
All right, here we go. You ready for the hard-hitting questions?
Oh dear sakes, this is heavy. Go
How
ahead.
did you become interested in the art of mime?
Whoa, someone has researched me. I was in college at Ball State University and for my freshman year, and down the hall from me lived a senior named Reed K. Steele. He ran a mime troupe on campus called Mime Over Matter. That's a pun.
Yeah.
And he saw me talking and goofing around during the lunchtime at the cafeteria in our dorm. He came over to me one day and said, "Have you ever heard of mime?" And I'm like, pantomime. Yes. Acting without talking. Yes, we have a troupe. Come see our show. I did, loved it. Auditioned for the troupe, and I became a mime for the next 4 years of my college career, and have been doing ever. So that was I didn't realize what education groundwork that was for my career to come. I had no idea at the time. It just was kind of a fun way to communicate without verbal dialogue, right? Using facial
Right.
expression, body language, gestures, posture, all that.
All right, well, speaking of Ball State University, where you went to college, it says here you were the mascot.
Yes.
Charlie Cardinal?
Yes, and I don't think there's a Funko Pop for Charlie Cardinal yet.
Not yet.
Unfortunately, yeah. But I wore a big red bird suit, had yellow tights on my legs and big yellow floppy feet. These legs are great for playing a bird, by the way. I just want to put that out there. So Ball State takes great pride in saying we were the first costume character he played. So I'll let them have that because they were.
This one's going to be fun. Mac Tonight.
Yes. Mac Tonight was a commercial campaign from the mid to late 80s. It was about a 3-year campaign that ran from 1980, it went national in 1987, and then ran through 1990. Came back and did like 2 more commercials in 1997. But I did a total of 27 commercials as Mac Tonight, this moon-headed, groovy guy character that was a nighttime, sort of mascot for the adults, because they already had Ronald McDonald and all the McDonald Land characters for kids and daytime and breakfast and lunch, but they needed a dinner nighttime after 4 p.m. guy. So why not have this groovy, night figure that is a moon, singing and dancing around the clouds on a grand piano.
Well, who created it? Was it like Industrial Light and Magic back in the day or something?
No, it was a creature effects designer named Steve Neal.
Oh, okay.
And he worked out of his garage at the time, because a lot of these creature shops are, Rick Baker's and Stan Winston in the day, and the big ones would have like a humongous shop with lots of employees in it. But Steve Neal ran this operation out of his garage, and he borrowed people from all these other shops. When he had a big project coming up. So the Mac Tonight campaign, he would borrow people from other big creature effects shops, and ran a life cast of me in his garage, and then built the moon head based on that to fit me perfectly. And that's kind of how my career got its start. But referrals would happen after that, because all these people that were borrowed from other shops would go back to those shops, and then they would see a design come through for a tall, skinny alien character, or an animal-man hybrid that was kind of long and lanky. They'd be like, I just worked with someone. Yeah, and so a combination of them liking what I did, whether if I made their design come to life in a way that they appreciated, and if you're easy to work with, which is a big one. We actors are known for being divas and like, it's hot. Can you get this off me? How long are we gonna do this? You hear that a lot from actors. And when you don't do that, they think you are exceptionally nice. Like, wow, he's just so easy to work with, because you didn't complain, which I think is a sad statement for actors. But because of that helped my reputation a bit. Ooh, a beard might be nice.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Why not?
I don't know how I'm going to get this on there, though. How does it connect?
I think you have to use one of these heads that has a little
it has
piece
a
to
notch
punch
in it.
Yeah.
See, I started with the wrong. Look at me.
So by this time, is your agent pitching you as like, hey, I've got this kind of specialty actor, or are you, looking for more traditional roles?
Well, I don't know that there was any agent in town at the time that knew what to do with someone like me exactly, because I didn't fit every casting call for sure. I'm not a romantic leading man, believe it or not. So I would be in the category of character actor, so it would be goofy sidekick. I did a lot of that kind of work. When it came to the costumes and makeups and things that I wore, then that just kind of became a specialty that we all had to learn. We were all on a learning curve together. My agents at the time had to learn that when these offers come in, how do we negotiate, and how do we get me the same recognition that another actor in the same project has. That was the hard part, is when you're obliterated and your face is covered with something, it's easy for them to, on the producer's side, be, oh, well, we don't even recognize him, so we shouldn't have to pay him that much, right? You know what I'm saying? So that was all a big learning curve for all of us. Getting my name placed in the credits with everyone else where it belongs, depending on the size of the role, all that. It was a long uphill battle for a while there.
Favorite Universal monster?
Oh, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah, even though my first horror movie I ever saw was The Mummy with Boris Karloff. So The Mummy haunted me. And then of course his Frankenstein was delicious. But The Creature from the Black Lagoon, there was something about the water and the fantasy of being able to live underwater, and I don't know. And he had this romantic crush on a human lady. But it was a tragic story of them not getting together in the end, which, most monster stories are. There's kind of a love interest to them, but it can never be. It's a love that can never be, because we're from different worlds. When no one will understand. It'll never. But then we got to make that right, and Guillermo del Toro, my favorite director I've ever worked with and done 6 movies with and a TV series with, he created The Shape of Water.
Yep.
As a kind of a full circle, let's recreate a rivery lagoon kind of creature from South America that can actually get the girl this time. So this love story evolves that is like beautiful and has a happy ending where they live happily ever after together. And it's like Guillermo del Toro is the only director that could have pulled that kind of story off. So I do feel very complete now that my love of The Creature from the Black Lagoon, I got to play a creature much like him that actually had a beautiful romantic tale to tell. It was lovely.
Yeah. Well, the scene where they flood the bathroom?
Yes.
And the water's coming down through the theater?
Yeah.
Where did they shoot that theater scene? Is that a real theater?
It's a real theater in Toronto. We filmed it in Toronto, Canada. and it was the I think it was called the Elgin Theater. So yeah, I'm not sure how they got water to drip. It's a historic old theater, so I hope they didn't ruin it with our film. But the bathroom set was not just upstairs.
Right.
That was in a soundstage, and we had 2 bathroom sets. One that was built into her apartment, that was an actual practical bathroom set. The other one was built in a tank that we could flood. It was an exact duplicate of that bathroom. And so Sally Hawkins and I both had to be in 8 feet of water, and floating down, she's stark naked, and of course the Fishman was always naked, but we're having this little romantic dance-like number underwater, which is just beautiful, but also a little bit scary because I've been in many makeups and costumes in my career, but never staying underwater while being filmed. So I was like, this is where I die. I'm going to die in a rubber costume underwater. But what a way to go, right? Living my dream.
But that's interesting to me. Like, is there actual real fear where you're kind of thinking like I can't breathe very well, or I need to, and they're saying, well, hey, can you guys hang out here just while we have to adjust the lighting for 30 minutes while you're just sitting there and in the water.
Well, we if they got all the lighting set up ahead of time with stand-ins and actually scuba divers actually.
Oh, okay.
So, Sally and I had both been through scuba training with how to breathe on those what do you call them? Respirators, thank you. And so we had people hiding behind corners of that set underwater that were ready to go with those respirators at any time.
Right.
Even though 8 feet tall, I'm 6'3", so all I had to do was go bloop, and I'm at the surface anyway. So it wasn't really that dangerous after all.
What's your earliest memorable theater experience, as a kid?
In a movie theater?
Yeah.
Probably watching Mary Poppins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When that was in the 60s. I was born in 1960, so I'd have been I wasn't even 10 yet. And seeing it in the theater in its first run was amazing. And I went home. Movies have an effect on people, and I learned that by going home to my messy room and wanting to magically clean it up like they did in Mary Poppins, where clothes go flying back into drawers and on hangers and back into the thing. And so I tried it. The fact that I actually tried thinking it might work was, movies have power. What
traditional actors today inspire you? Which ones do you feel might be unsung heroes?
Well, oh gosh, Sam Rockwell, I think, is probably he's one of my favorite actors of all time, and he's been nominated for several awards over the years. But he's a name that people have to go, who's that again? So that might be the unsung part of him. Critics have loved him. Audiences at large may not have to be re-educated on who Sam Rockwell is a lot, but I think he is a chameleon. He's played so many. He's a delicious bad guy. He's a great heartfelt lead. Depending on the role he does. Love him dearly.
Obviously, you're wearing a lot of prosthetics. You've got costumes and outfits and all this stuff going on. And there's probably there's some downtime. When are you able to flip the switch and become the character, or do you try to stay in character?
Oh, I can't. No. My filming days are usually anywhere from 15 to 18 hours long, depending on the project or the look that I'm in. I'm the first one on set and the last one to leave because of the makeup process, getting it on and then getting it cleaned off at the end of the day. So, I have to save energy for camera. So you'll see a lot of on sets. You see a lot of castmates sitting around their set chairs in the green room area while scenes are being reset, and you have a little minute and they're joking, looking at things on phones, playing games, and I can't join them because I gotta sit there okay. It does drain your energy when you're wearing something on yourself. You're hotter than everybody else, you're sweating more than everybody else, you might be more dehydrated than everybody else because if you drink water, then you have to let it go at some point, and you might be in a contraption with webbed fingers and claws that you can't get to your business. And it's a young person's game. It really is. So there are challenges that come with it, but I've learned that the hard way of being like, hey, yeah, and then the camera comes and I have nothing left at the end of the day in the wee hours of the night.
What's been the most challenging role you've played?
Oh gosh, they all have their own challenges. I think the farther you get from human, the harder it is to play. So I did a movie that you do not have a Funko Pop figure for called Bug Buster 100 years ago. And I played the mother bug in that. So crouched over, 6 legs coming out of me, a head up here. I was stuck in the neck of the character with fur coming out of me, big long 6-foot pinchers on my front and a stinger coming out of my backside. It was like, no, it was an utter mess. But of movies that you do know, I think The Fawn from Pan's Labyrinth was quite elaborate. It was a 5-hour makeup and costume application. Once I got into it though, I've got these ram horns that are out here, very heavy because they're packed with batteries that operated the upper part of my face was puppeteered, eyelids and brows. This was glued onto me, so I operated my own mouth, and so I could deliver dialogue. And then I had long finger extensions that I couldn't do anything when I had them on. And I was up on stilts. I was about 7 feet tall. So I'm going clank, clank, clank around with all this on. And I had to speak Spanish. I had paragraphs of exposition dialogue in a language that I don't know. So I had to learn this dialogue word for word with a translation of English and Spanish. So I got the whole conversation down between the two of us. All my scenes were with little Ophelia, played by Ivana Baquero in that. And so it was a lot of brain work and a lot of body physical work that had to go together to make this character happen. So talk about downtime between takes. I was like, I couldn't socialize with anybody. I had to save a lot of that for the camera.
Do you sometimes I'm always curious, would they ever say like, hey Doug, listen, we can take it all off right now tonight, we're done for the day, but we know you got to be back here in 5 hours or something. Have you ever had that situation they said, do you want to just sleep in it?
Again, let's go back to Pan's Labyrinth. Another character that you have a Funko Pop for, the Pale Man, right? Was the second character I played in that movie. And it was a glued on, that was all makeup. So every piece of it was glued onto me. I had skinny bony legs that were attached to the front of my own leg here, and the rest of my leg was wrapped in green screen colored material so they could wipe away part of my leg in post-production. The top was all glued, the whole torso was glued onto me, every inch of it was, down here and to the clawed hands, and then this whole head and neck piece. They start taking it off at the end of my first day, and it was taking forever. I knew my call time the next day, and they were getting closer and closer together, right? The wrap and the call time. So I said, you guys, I think if you can get my head and my hands clear, let's leave the rest of this stuck to me, and I will go home. I'll sleep in it tonight at the hotel. We're filming in Spain, so I could cover up with my sweatsuit, and no one would know I had all this saggy silicone on underneath. So we did that for 4 days. The shower on Friday night, when I finally got it off, was really, really nice. Yeah, best shower I've ever had in my life.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your character, the amphibian man in The Shape of Water. So obviously it won Best Picture. And
which was unusual for a movie with a monster on the cover to win Best Picture at the Oscars, for sure.
Yeah, so that's like, I was gonna go into that. Were you pleasantly surprised,
Yes, but I called it. I didn't know what categories we would be nominated in, but when Guillermo del Toro, we were working on Crimson Peak in 2014, another Funko Pop figure you have of the Mother Ghost that I played. On a day off, he had me come to his office during lunchtime to discuss his next project he wanted to do. And he hadn't told anybody about it yet. He didn't have a script written yet. He just had the story in here. And he wanted to talk to me, and Dougie, sit down, I want to tell you. So he explained the story to me of what The Shape of Water would be. This amphibian man caught in the wild and brought into a government secret facility for testing, and the cleaning lady would fall in love with him. As he's explaining this whole story to me, I said to him, this is your next trip to the Oscars. Because Pan's Labyrinth had taken him there before with 6 nominations and 3 wins. This one, I was like, this is going to be a gorgeous story. If I visualize it the way you're going to direct it the way you explained it to me, it's going to be great. And I called it 13 nominations and 4 wins, including Best Director and Best Picture.
Most of these characters, you're covered up. No one, like when you're walking down the street, no one goes, hey, there's the amphibian man. Or is that a blessing or a curse?
It is a blessing for sure. In my early days, it's like, I I wonder if anybody knows that I'm Mac tonight on television.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, it's nice that they don't know. I do get recognized more in public now than ever before because of interviews just like this, where this face is now married to an entire career that they can look up on their devices. You know, those kids using the Webernet and all that they do. Yeah. So those kids, I tell you, and so because of that, you know, and when you get a lot of press for a project during the Shape of Water award season and the press junkets, I got a lot of interviews and attention on television and podcasts and YouTubes and, you know, all kinds of things. Star Trek Discovery has been an ongoing press machine as well. So because of that, this face does get seen more now. Well, in Star Trek Discovery, there was 2 episodes of season 3 where I went into a hologram program and Saru changed into a human form. So that, again, was this face. Unfortunately for the audience, I'm sorry about that. But also on What We Do in the Shadows, the funny vampire show, I started in a prosthetic look that was kind of Nosferatu-y looking like. It was kind of like, you know, as an ancient vampire. And then I magically got transformed back into my youthful self, which was this face with a wig. Again, I'm sorry about that. But that was in their season 4. So my face has been, you know, married to characters that started in prosthetic makeups as well. So a combination of that, every so often at the airport, I'll be like, someone will say, "Excuse me, are you Doug Jones?" Or a flight attendant, or a waiter at a restaurant, or, you know, yeah. So it happens more now, but I never cause a mob scene. So that I have the best of both worlds for sure.
All right, Doug, it's time for rapid fire fun.
Oh dear.
Do you know what that is?
No, I don't. But if it's rapid and I'm a slow thinker, is this a bad thing?
Maybe. Here we go.
Okay.
Favorite movie of all time?
Somewhere in Time.
Favorite cartoon growing up?
Casper, the Friendly Ghost.
Favorite song of all time?
Through the Eyes of Love by Melissa Manchester.
First car?
My first car, AMC Pacer.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. You can drive another car right in the back of it. Remember that? The ad?
That's right. Big bubble on roller skates.
Favorite ride at Disneyland?
Oh, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay. First music you ever bought with your own money?
Ooh, it was the greatest hits of the Fifth Dimension.
Favorite superhero and why?
I'm going to go back to Superman because those are my first superhero comic books were Superman, and the first superhero movie I remember watching was Christopher Reeve as Superman flying around the skies.
You passed. But here's the big question. We don't really do a lot of research here, but we think you may have been popped more than anyone ever on the history of this show, let alone maybe in the history of Funko.
You know what? I would defy anyone to challenge me on this, but I have a list in my pocket. May I pull it out?
Yes, please do. Let's see it.
If I'm correct, I have played 11 different characters that have been Funko Popped.
Really?
Yes. Okay. That would be the Amphibian Man from The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Abe Sapien from the Hellboy movies. The Fawn from Pan's Labyrinth. The Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth. Mother Ghost from Crimson Peak. Silver Surfer from the Fantastic Four movies, Saru from Star Trek Discovery, Billy Butcherson from Hocus Pocus, 1 and 2 now, the Gentleman from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And these last 2 are other people have played them, but I also have. And that would be a remake of Nosferatu that is not out yet, that I did play. It's finished. I have picture proof of it. And also the gray alien from X-Files. They're all Funko Pops that I have. I had them all. They all got stolen, and then I replaced them all. The one I still have to get again is the Buffy the Vampire Slayer Gentleman.
We'll work on that for you. I know somebody.
Do you know somebody?
Yeah.
Okay. If you can find me a gentleman, I'll be happy. Thanks.
Okay, we'll work on that. But that's an amazing list because I do think you've been popped as, you know, more than anyone else as different, all the different variety of characters. So we're going to look into that, but you may hold that honor. We may have to make up a new award.
Well, okay.
That's
I'll
amazing.
Take it. If there's an award to be, wow, that'd be an honor to get a Funko Pop Award for the most ever. Wow. By the way, do you like the beard and and then I also put a number 1. We're a number 1 hand on.
Kind of like that Cardinal mascot.
Which right, and this, if I'm the number 1, if I hold the record of Funko Pops, it makes me kind of
number
one-ish there. So I think that's. You can't see my tie though now because of the beard. I don't know. Oh, anyway.
All right, well, I love the figure. What are you gonna call him?
What am I gonna call him? Let's see. Let's call him O Bearded One.
Good.
Oh, Bearded One.
Oh, I like
See?
that.
Yeah. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Doug Jones. Why, I'm so happy that you joined us today here on another episode of Pop Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Mr. Doug Jones. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks so much.